Hello and welcome to 3 Minute Gaming. I'm Nathan, and today I'm going to tell you if this game's their time and bandwidth.
Today's game is Shock Troopers Second Squad. Sequel to one of the best NeoGeo games, does Shock Troopers Second Squad deliver on the original's awesomeness? Well, let's find out. Shock Troopers Second Squad is the 1998 follow-up to Shock Troopers, which is again an overhead run-and-gun style of game akin to Commando or Akari Warriors. Based on the title, you'd think this was more of the same from Shock Troopers, but Second Squad is actually different in a ton of ways. First off, the 8-character squad mechanic from the first game is completely gone. You now pick a single character for your run, though you do get to swap on continues, from a cast of only 4. These each have unique weapons and stats for some greater variety, though not being able to swap on a whim is a notable omission. The game also has fewer stage variety than the original, as there's only one branching choice after the first mission, meaning it has 7 possible stages rather than the 17 from the first, but the split is still nice and definitely adds variety. You will still be running and gunning with the exact same controls and using special grenades to get out of tight situations. There are also special weapons to pick up with limited ammo for a damage boost, but your base weapon now can also be upgraded by collecting power-ups. You do unfortunately power down when getting hit and on death, so to stay strong you'll have to play well. The dodge has been removed, replaced with the jump that is functionally identical in terms of dodging, though definitely trickier to use. The game also has a completely new visual style, focusing on pre-rendered assets rather than pixel art, as was the style of the time thanks to Donkey Kong Country exploding in popularity. It also chibifies most of the characters and enemies, which means if you turn on the more explicit deaths it feels kind of weird brutally dismembering cute little chibi guys, but whatever. A big new improvement is vehicles, which you can climb into for some big damage until they get shot too much, a la Metal Slug. All vehicles also have unique charge attack that can be extremely useful based on the situation, allowing you to dish out some insane carnage. Like the first game, you can play the entire game in co-op for more explosive goodies, and the game thankfully has more boss variety when compared to the first. And that is basically Shock Troopers Second Squad, more of the same on the surface, but actually quite different from its predecessor in some fundamental ways. So what do I like about Shock Troopers Second Squad? Well, the game still controls great, just like the first one, even if that jump is a little tricky getting used to, with holding shoot allowing you to strafe, while tapping allows for more freedom of control. And speaking of shooting, it is still very fun here, with that risk-reward melee mechanic sticking around and encouraging aggressive play, and this game has plenty of explosions and carnage to keep it satisfying. And lastly, the new vehicles are really cool. Taking a page from Metal Slug's book, as driving a mech or a big tank around is always going to feel great in this type of game. When it comes to the bad, the slowdown in this game is insane, and is present even in just single player, with the game slowing to a crawl honestly more often than not, and absolutely brutal on bosses. Additionally, the new art style kind of sucks, mostly because it doesn't commit. They have pixel characters meshing with some budget-looking 3D renders, and there's some absolutely terrible JPEG-ass looking background assets. The whole thing just looks cheap. And lastly, the lack of squad mechanics from the original game is a big bummer. And while I do like that the characters are more unique, that weapon power upgrade system isn't really engaging, and you lose the feeling of sudden bursts of power by picking up weapons that you get in, say, Metal Slug or the first game. As you know, I rate games here on a 3-point scale. Must play, maybe consider, and don't bother. And Shock Troopers 2 is honestly a big disappointment. While it isn't a bad game by any means, it strips out almost everything that made the original game great and unique, and replaces it with nothing new or exciting. This is made even worse by the ugly art style and absolutely crippling slowdown. It is still definitely playable and a reasonable amount of fun, especially with a friend, but if I'm being honest, you'd probably be better served just playing the first game again, as that overall is just a much better experience. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Have you played Shock Troopers Second Squad? Have you even played the first one? Please let me know what you think in the comments. Regardless, go out there, and maybe give Shock Troopers 2 a look.